Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter code FACE at checkout. That's harrys.com, code FACE. Enjoy!
This is
Make It Plain.
Make It Plain.
M.I.P.
With Masamela Matfumo.
Mark Thompson.
Make It Plain.
Get woke.
Ladies and gentlemen, we used to know him as Mayor Pete. He now is not only Secretary Pete, but he's Father Pete now too, I believe. Since last I saw him, congratulations, the father of a pair of twins. Congratulations, Secretary Pete.
Thank you. We're over the moon, as you might imagine. Not sleeping much, but absolutely thrilled.
Yeah, I know about the non-sleeping for sure. And you got 2 of them, so God bless you.
That's right.
How does transportation figure into both infrastructure legislation, and Build Back Better?
So when it comes to infrastructure legislation, what we're seeing right now is that we have gone decades without investing in the transportation infrastructure people count on, whether we're talking about roads and bridges, whether we're talking about public transit, and that's caught up to us. This is a chance to fix that and create jobs. But it's also part of the bigger picture of our economy. And that's where the president's overall Build Back Better agenda comes in. Remember, what's in front of Congress right now is not just a chance to modernize our infrastructure and invest in transportation, but to invest in our families, to make childcare more affordable, to make pre-kindergarten education more affordable, to get parents paid leave so they can take care of new kids when they come into a family, as well as dealing with our climate and so many other things that need attention. All of this adds up to a major moment to make life better for all Americans. And I'm proud to be a part of an administration that's thinking big.
And also some of your initiatives would also affect the environment as well. Transportation can make a big difference when it comes to a clean environment and energy, right?
Absolutely. Look, when you look at greenhouse gas emissions that are causing climate change, the truth is the biggest chunk of that is what comes out of transportation. But that means we can be a big part of the solution. In fact, today I'm going to be doing an event here at the Department of Transportation about electric vehicles, which put no emissions into the atmosphere. By the way, this is also an issue of environmental justice and racial justice because communities of color are more likely to live in areas that experience a lot of pollution from cars, from trucks, from ships. So as we get to a greener transportation sector, we also have families that are going to live healthier lives. And we get to create jobs through this. Remember, the global, for example, the global auto industry, it's going electric. The question is, are more of those electric cars going to be made in America by American workers putting money in the pockets of American families, or is it going to happen somewhere else? That's why we've got to make sure that we're on top of this as a country, and it's why this administration is pushing things like electric vehicles so hard.
Well, to that point on electric vehicles, what can the government do and what can the Department of Transportation do to help the private industry create more of those jobs and create more of those electric vehicles?
Well, like you said, this is about private industry, right? We're not going to have the government manufacturing these cars. Nobody wants to see that. But what we can do is we can accelerate that process, like making sure there are more chargers available. We got to make sure that whether you live in a dense urban area, a large building where, not everybody has their own garage, or whether you're out in a rural area, we got to make it easy to have the charging infrastructure to plug these things in. And I can tell you, I'm now that I'm a dad, we traded in our old cars. We got a plug-in electric minivan. And this thing is amazing. It can go 20, 30 miles without needing a charge. It's going to save us gas money. But it was pretty expensive up front, even though it's going to save us some money. So the other thing we're paying attention to is how do we make these electric vehicles more affordable? It's actually lower income Americans who could benefit the most from not having to spend money on gas. But to do that, we got to bring down the sticker price of these cars. That's something else we can do with rebates and incentives, and it's part of the president's plan.
Public transportation, high-speed rail, does that figure as well into this conversation?
You bet. You know, the president is famous for being a big Amtrak fan. I am too, and really believe in the possibilities around rail and high speed unlocking economic opportunity, but also just getting around town. You know, public transit is such an important part of how people can access opportunity. We got to support the essential workers who count on public transportation to get to those jobs that are so important for, things like healthcare. By the way, again, Americans of color are more likely to count on public transportation, which is why this is a justice issue too. And this shows you how everything is all connected. This is a climate issue. The more people don't necessarily have to use a car to get to where they're going, if there's good transit options, the less congestion there's going to be on the roads and less pollution there's going to be in our air.
Lastly, Mayor Pete, as we look at these pieces of legislation and our friend Joe Manchin and some of the things he's doing, are there any of the issues that are dear to your agenda or dear to our transportation agenda, as we've discussed, that are in jeopardy in the negotiations? We know that people are arguing about scaling back, Build Back Better. Senator Manchin has a bottom line. Is there anything specific to what we've talked about today that is in jeopardy right now?
Yeah, part of a negotiation, obviously, is we may not get everything that we want, and I think the president has acknowledged that. But we will insist that all of these measures are good and they are worth it. And if they have to be trimmed back or maybe initially have to be done for a different period of time, those are the trade-offs that are happening right now in Congress. But what I can say is that taken together, these initiatives are going to make the 2020s and the rest of our lifetimes better in America. They're going to create jobs. They're going to increase the affordability of raising a child and being a worker in this country. We believe in them. We stand by them, and we're going to push for them.
Secretary Pete, now Father Pete, congratulations, my friend. I've done the minivan too, but it wasn't electric back in those days. God bless you. Good to see you, man.
Thanks very much. Take care.
Keith Washington is a good friend of mine.
Oh, yeah.
Very
that's great.
friend.
He's doing great work here.
And my daughter just got her master's in transportation engineering, so I'll tell her I talked to you today.
Outstanding. Maybe I'll see you around the halls here sometime.
Maybe. Thank you, man. Good to
Wonderful.
see you. Love to the
Thanks
family.
a lot.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
More MIP after this message.
Folks, we're in Washington, D.C. today recognizing the 10th anniversary of the unveiling of the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial on the National Mall. In these 10 years, millions of tourists come every year to see this memorial. And some of you may recall it has a special place for me, a special significance, because the memorial was actually unveiled on my mother's birthday, her first birthday after her untimely passing, October 16th, 2011. Well, we recognized it today, I should say, and had a chance to catch up with a few folk I think you all would want to hear from, just briefly, as we were all gathered for this important occasion. I'm sure you saw in the news, President Biden, Vice President Harris were there to speak, along with Speaker Pelosi. So we got a chance to catch up with her. We always appreciate doing that and appreciate her time for us and Make It Plain. So why don't we hear from, in this order, Speaker Pelosi, Congresswoman Terri Sewell from Alabama, Congressman Troy Carter from Louisiana, Congressman Emanuel Cleaver from Missouri, Congressman Bobby Scott from Virginia. We'll also hear from the MC of today's event, the actor Hill Harper. We'll also hear, lastly, from the former president of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, Dr. King's fraternity, and the person responsible for getting the memorial built. The Alphas raised the money, built this memorial. We'll also hear, lastly, on this 10th anniversary of the MLK Memorial, from the president of the MLK Memorial Foundation, our dear brother, Harry
Johnson, in that order. Take a listen. Long live the spirit of Dr. King, a black man's image, his statue on the mall with all of the white presidents. That is very important.
The significance of 10 years, Madam Speaker, at this memorial. How does that make you feel?
Well, it's pretty thrilling to be here on any given day. That 10 years have gone by is hard to believe. But the fact that we haven't made the progress we need to make yet, but we're on the verge of it, makes today very special. With the President of the United States making his commitment in legislation that will be transformative, it makes it a very special day.
Congresswoman Terri Sewell, what do you think Dr. King, we're here at the Martin Luther King Memorial, what do you think he would say about the filibuster?
Well, I think that he would see it as the barrier that it stands right now to achieving and securing our democracy. I think that the filibuster has got to go. Reforming is the very least, but the fact that you can have a Supreme Court justice be selected with 51 votes, but you can't put on the floor the John Robert Lewis voting rights bill without 60 votes to stop debate, let alone to vote for the actual underlying bill, it's a barrier. It's a modern day barrier.
Thank you for continuing Dr. John Lewis's legacy. Congressman, what's the significance of 10 years here at the Martin Luther King Memorial?
10 years of the erection of the Martin Luther King Monument demonstrates that we will always be a part of the fabric of this country. We know that there are those who are trying to reverse history, to soften the effects of slavery. You cannot soften the effects of slavery. You have to maintain and recognize the only way to correct slavery is to fix it going forward, by building a stronger nation, by caring for our people, by creating economic opportunities, getting rid of having criminal justice reform, building safe and strong economies. That's what the 10th year of this monument means to America. It means to everyone.
More MIP after this message.
Gentlemen, Congressman Cleaver, Congressman Scott, the significance of the Martin Luther King Memorial 10 years later. Congressman Cleaver.
Well, it proves that the dream never dies. Here we are 10 years later, keeping the dream alive. In fact, just the existence of the Monument Memorial teaches us, I think, how we have to stick to it no matter what, because otherwise that monument wouldn't have been built. And now we've got to continue to build monuments around that will stand the test of time in terms of the freedom we continue to fight for and pursue.
What do you think Dr. King would say about your neighbor, Joe Manchin?
Well, Joe Manchin voted for the rescue plan that is in the process of cutting child poverty in half. We're going to make sure that we make significant progress in the infrastructure plan and the Build Back Better plan. And whatever we do in those plans, it's not the end. We're going to continue to fight.
Hill Harper, how'd it feel for you to MC the program today, 10 years later?
Yes, such an honor to MC the program 10 years later. It's an incredible, first of all, the monument is one of the most important, as the only non-president or former president to have a monument on the National Mall. It represents something so significant for us and just reminds us what, over the last 10 years, where we've gone wrong. I mean, we have to renew the fight of Dr. King, because you can see it's under attack. And my heart is just filled, all of these folks here and the remarks of the president. This is just a wonderful day, but it just charges me up, and I hope it charges up everybody else, because we have to fight back, and this is the moment, and this is the time, and that monument to me represents that. So I appreciate it. God bless. Thank you.
Good to see you, man.
Thank you so much.
Be in touch, brother. To the anniversary of the MLK Memorial, the chairman of the MLK Memorial Foundation, the man who helped make this happen, former president of Alpha Psi Alpha, my brother Harry Johnson. How you feel about these 10 years? Man, 10 years has flown by here.
10 years have flown by very fast. How proud we are of what the memorial stands for: democracy, justice, hope, and love. And it stands for all that. And to have people from all over the world to come to the memorial, 3 million visitors a year, outstanding.
What's next for the memorial?
we were concentrating on programmatic pieces, so our social justice fellows, our youth leadership conference, our conversation series, and did things around the memorial to help others, give away food and other things that we did.
And you've gotten 2 presidents to come to speak on.
We have, so outstanding. We had the top 3 people of power today. We had President, Vice President, Speaker of the House. You can't get any better than that.
Terry, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Glad you're here with us.
All right, wonderful.
Bless you.
Thanks for getting woke and listening to Make It Plain. Please remember to listen, like, and wherever you get your podcasts, please give the show a 5-star rating. And please do spread the word. Let's all continue to pray for each other during this pandemic and this police-demic. If all hearts and minds are clear, it has been made plain.